Hello everyone and welcome back to round 2 of season 2 of the F124 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live yesterday from Bahrain, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. It was quite an interesting one to kickstart the new year. A new star has emerged in Teo Porsche over at Haas, and we had our first ever mechanical failure inside this series on F124. Yes, in both series I've done, Season 2 in Bahrain, the engine likes to go bang for some reason on this game. We've got a few more upgrades though in the works right now, but they are going to take a couple more races to show up on the car, so we're going to need a big push throughout the rest of this season there. There you go. It was the MGU-H that broke down on us over the Bahrain weekend, so not ideal. What was ideal, though, was for Ferrari, a 1-2 to kickstart the year, and for the first time ever, Carlos Sainz leads the way in a Formula 1 World Championship as well there. So hopefully we can, at the very least, try to return to points this weekend, but failing that, hopefully we can at least see the finish line.
Welcome to Jeddah Corniche, one of the fastest circuits on the calendar, but let's see who will be the fastest of them all. It's time to set the grid for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Yes, it's time for qualifying.
Well, after the disappointment of Bahrain, it's always nice to come back here to Jeddah because, well, simply put, it's one of the easiest tracks inside F124. It's not one of the AI's greatest, so hopefully it's going to give us a chance to deliver a good result this weekend. We could have been in the fight for points in Bahrain had things gone our way, as I'm not sure what Yuki Tsunoda's doing at the first couple of corners in that V-carb, but hopefully he is going to spot me behind him and obey blue flags there. But yeah, hopefully we can try and have a good run. Obviously P19 last weekend, I'd like to go a bit better than that. But yeah, ultimately the car still waiting on quite a few major upgrades that are going to trickle in over the opening few rounds. We just didn't quite have the winter break we wanted. As far as I can tell then, Yuki Tsunoda might actually be on a run here, so I think we're picking up a nice slipstream off of him, pretty much right the way around the lap there as well. We almost do a Lance Stroll. We did nick the inside wall, but luckily we didn't face the consequences like the Canadian did. Let's not forget, Stroll here last season robbed me of a point. On the, I think it was on the run up towards the line, wasn't it? Just took the position from me when we were going to score our first ever point in this series. Luckily, we took the full 25 the next weekend in Australia, up over the line though. We go P8. Tsunoda is an absolute legend. I probably won't be able to go quicker than that, because he carried me right the way around the lap. Well, we're only running about 4 tenths off pole at the moment, but we're down in 9th place, so it is all to play for here, as everybody prepares for their final run here in qualifying. Don't want to use too much battery, actually, as we make the run towards turn 1. Just because last time around, yeah, it cost us a bit of time further around the lap there, so I want to try and hold a little bit more charge to see us through to the end. But like I said, we might not be able to match this time. Tsunoda did give us a really nice tow, pretty much throughout the entirety of the lap, and well, we've got no luxury on this second run as we try and get the car as close to the wall through these opening few corners. There's still a lot of grip underneath us. Will it be enough there as Hamilton goes top of the timings? We are up though in sector 1 by basically nothing at all. In fact, I think by the time we got to the split point, we were ever so slightly down. Lots of times improving though. Charles Leclerc goes to the top, so maybe Ferrari know now and that they are in the title fight this season. Just thread the car between the walls, make sure we don't hit that curbing too aggressively. Really nice run out onto the back straight there. As you can just see, we lose that little bit of time. We weren't that close to Tsunoda, but it was definitely, you know, half a tenth here, half a tenth there. Can make a world of difference as you come to the end of your qualifying run there. We've actually had another really, really good lap up to this point to hang us close to that delta as we have. Hopefully we can have a little bit more out of the final corner as well then. We're pretty much even at the moment. So we break down into the turn 27 and the last corner of this lap. Good slingshot off of the corner. Are we going to be able to go quicker than Max Verstappen as we make our way up towards the line? We basically went identical. I've almost choked myself trying to commentate. It's P13 on the grid. Utter disaster for Max Verstappen. He will line up all the way down in P11, ready for the Grand Prix here. But in terms of our lap times, they were 1,000th of a second apart in the end. So when you talk about consistency, here on the Jeddah Corniche. I mean, every split as well was within, what, 0.02 of a second of each other, 0.03 of a second each other. So, brutal consistency here in qualifying, but it is Charles Leclerc that will line up on pole position ahead of both the Mercedes, and Oscar Piastri lining up in 4th. Théo Pourchaire, not quite as well as he did last weekend. It's P19 on the grid for him, but anything can happen as we head into the Grand Prix.
So here we are then, welcoming you today to one of the jewels of the Arab world. Jeddah, one of the biggest cities in Saudi Arabia, second only to Riyadh, gateway to Mecca. One of the biggest ports in the region, and now host to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at a topographical map of the Jeddah Street Circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Oscar Piastri, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Ocon, Norris, Stroll, Verstappen, Bottas, Mr. Monaco, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Albon, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Théo Pourchaire, Joe, Iwasa, and Logan Sargent. Now it lights out just moments away. It's time to go down to the track.
Well, here we are then, trackside ready for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and lining up P13. Hopefully we're going to have a good chance to fight for points today. The alternate strategy has worked well for me before, so you know what? We're going to try it. We're going to start on the softs and then go to the mediums later on in the afternoon. I don't want to go for the kind of the other way round, otherwise I feel like we're going to get undercut horrendously around this venue. But staying in the slipstream is critical. Trying to avoid losing a front wing as well is absolutely everything here. But as we line up on the grid then, maybe our first points could be inbound. It is 5 red lights, and it's going to be lights out, and away we go there. Verstappen, after a terrible qualifying, gets an even worse start, so immediately Bottas and I are going to try and get around the Dutchman. As just a little bit of contact there, unfortunately, might cost us a tiny bit of downforce.
Taking some damage, you might start to notice it soon.
Yeah, not ideal then. We were just trying to avoid contact with Bottas, and I thought Verstappen would back out of it. Probably a stupid idea of myself there to think the Dutchman would give me any more room than he absolutely had to there. As you can already see, Perez struggling a bit through the S's. I think he might have been wheel to wheel with Esteban Ocon. So, yeah, already we're starting to see gaps forming up towards the front of the order as Bottas trying to look defensive. Send it on the brakes into turn 12. Unfortunately, though, not quite able to find the grip on the exit.
Fine, let's try and move forward.
Camber could only help you so much through that corner, but I guess, yeah, we've jumped. 4-time world champion Max Verstappen, at least off the start of this one. Yeah, Charles Leclerc and Ferrari look to try and make it 2 from 2 to kickstart the campaign as well. The first time they'll have done that since 2018, I believe, if, and it's a big if, they can convert this race today. But as we make our way through the final couple of corners, looks like we've got quite a lot of us on the soft compound tyres, so we're not the only one with my thought process today. Is Hulkenberg, I thought I'd covered him off early enough, but apparently not. Down in towards the final corner we go. Can we hook it up the long way around? Yes, we can. And we'll stay P12 by the end of the first lap. DRS already enabled then. I think Carlos Sainz has come to Saudi with a bit of a kind of marker on his back, to be honest. A bit of a target, because everybody at the moment seems to be trying to get past our World Championship leader. I think admittedly even he wasn't expecting to win the race in Bahrain, but as we make a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact with Valtteri Bottas, I thought he'd back out of it earlier than he did. But we'll get round him up into 11th then, so just one place outside the points. Yeah, Sainz at the moment, he's just getting bullied. What's going on? 3 wide up in front. I can see Esteban Ocon this time round being the meat in a sandwich there, as Sainz and Norris go around his outside. The 2 former McLaren teammates, of course, still, yeah, I think they're good friends still, but yeah, certainly willing to race hard on the circuit.
Teammate behind, 6.0 seconds.
As again, Sainz will try and defend the inside at turn 1, but Norris there able to find the grips, go the long way around. we've got a real split between softs and mediums here. But of course, it's Lance Stroll and I that will likely end up being battling for the final point. Esteban Ocon had a really good qualifying, but seems to be lacking the out-and-out pace against some of the other drivers here, as Stroll now has a look around the outside of the Alpine through the final corner. I mean, it's like Noah's Ark in front, 2 by 2, there you go. Are we going to be able to capitalise, though? We're really making a conscious effort to try and look after our battery early on. See, the last thing I want is another mechanical failure, as everybody just tucks back in at turn 1. Tiny bit of contact there, as just reminding Stroll that we're right behind him. So the other thing I'm nervous about is whether Ocon's going to lose the range to Carlos Sainz in front of him, especially when him and Lance Stroll still seem to be fighting, going side by side as much as they are. I think Sainz has accepted it's in his best interest to sit behind Lando Norris and maybe pull away. As you can see, the two behind him, though, definitely haven't got the same idea there. Verstappen finally recovering back onto our relative there. No, Hulkenberg again is going to get back past him, as these two, I mean, they're putting on a good show early on. It's not really ideal longer term into this race. As Ocon again will just get around the outside of the Aston Martin. Stroll now is going to go defensive on me. What on earth is that? Ocon just cut across him, and that's got to be the wildest double overtake I've ever made inside this game there. There's contact up in front again, and Sainz and Norris almost bang wheels, but a double overtake into Sector 2 here in Jeddah. Ignore the track limits on the exit of the corner. What have we just pulled off? Well, Sainz and Norris now just starting to pull away from me a little bit. I think it was always opportunistic to try and keep up with a McLaren and a Ferrari here early on. But yeah, I'm just trying to look at it. I think everyone now kind of a bit taken by surprise that Ferrari were able to get that win last weekend. Especially now Red Bull seemingly, especially Verstappen, struggling here in Jeddah as well. Maybe there's a real belief, you know, at McLaren, at Mercedes, at Aston Martin, Ferrari, that it could be anybody's game for a world title this season. Every series we've done so far in F1 24 has ended up just being the Max Verstappen show.
Ahead, 1.5 seconds. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 0.9 seconds.
Well, I can't get a word in edgeways currently with Mark, but yeah, every series has been the Max Verstappen show so far. I've got a sneaking suspicion this one is going to be just a little bit different. Here we go, Esteban Ocon and Lance Stroll, I'm sure, just about to fly past me as we make our way into the final corner, though. We've definitely overworked this first set of tyres this afternoon. Actually, we were able to hang on. We had pretty good speed there. And at the final turn, Verstappen now has finally decided he's going to wake up and join the party here. As I think, yeah, we're about to get absolutely swamped into that first corner. There goes Stroll. Ocon gets a little bit caught out there. Oh, I actually fired it in. I'm so sorry, Lance. Kept it just about between the white lines, though. So, yeah, I don't know how we managed that, to be honest. I was trying to avoid the Canadian at that first corner, but don't hit the inside wall. We're going to box the end of this lap. Like I said, we're going to try and get an undercut.
Some understeer now that you're in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as soon as possible.
Definitely have worked these softs, though, too hard early on. Oh, no, that's not helpful. Luckily, we got a pit anyway.
DRS is unavailable. The rear wing is down, so you can stay out while we work on a fix.
Well, I'd rather that than a mechanical failure, but hopefully the team are going to be able to get it fixed as we prepare to dive into the pit lane then, defend the inside from Lance Stroll, who just thinks about trying to tuck out and then pulls back in and tucks back out and pulls back in. Stroll a little bit undecided down to that final corner, as we have already got a few other cars peeling into the pit lane. Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc and Fernando Alonso, just to name a few of them. And I've got to remember, I just remembered, it's 37 miles an hour here as Verstappen into the pit lane just behind me, so we've got to make sure that we don't get jumped by him either. Although, to be fair, we could easily sit behind the Dutchman for a few laps and try to enjoy some slipstream and some DRS there. Busy pit lane.
That's it. Go, go, go. Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
Well, I'm happy we didn't run into any problems with the pit stop either. Not quite as bad as in the driver career mode at the moment. But yeah, as we make our way back out onto the track, Verstappen, I'm sure, is going to be hunting me down. Well, looks like only McLaren then have tried to go with that alternate strategy here. Norris and Piastri are now out at the front of the order. So Verstappen, well, let him pass us there, just so he can try and carry me for at least a lap or so. Well, oh, no, neither of us got the DRS. How did that happen then? So A little bit peculiar, but as other cars head out the pit lane then, we're still going to be nicely ahead of Lance Stroll now. Don't tell me we're going to end up having to battle the Dutchman for the final point. As Ayumu Iwasa inside the top 10. He's having an absolute terrible start to the new campaign, but got to look at the positives where you can. Iwasa then into the pit lane, so we're going to re-emerge inside the top 10.
Ayumu is in the pits now.
Lando Norris as well, making his way out of the pits as we're going to go around the outside of Verstappen. So yeah, that overcut not working for McLaren right now, and Oscar Piastri might be in a bigger spot of bother. No, Norris is way out in front of me. How is Norris 5 seconds up the road? Oh no, no, not another one. Again, it's the MTU-H that's gone. What is that? 2 mechanical failures in a row. And my luck so far inside this series is absolutely horrendous. At least I guess we know it's not scripted between this and the other series, but we are out again of another Grand Prix.
What a superb drive from Oscar Piastri, who takes the checkered flag. And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race for the McLaren team, and I'm very happy to see them there on the top step of the podium.
Well, there we go. Oscar Piastri is a Formula 1 Grand Prix winner. He's always gone well around the Jeddah Corniche, and tonight has been no different. There must have got a well-timed safety car or something due to our mechanical failure, but the Australian, our second winner of the year, and neither of which so far I think you would have guessed there. Fernando Alonso comes through for P2 ahead of Russell and Sergio Perez there, with Hamilton, Leclerc, Norris, Sainz, Verstappen and Lance Stroll rounding out our top 10. But more bad luck for me in this series. When are we going to catch a break? Both cars blew up. Ayumu Iwasa failed to see the checkered flag as well then, so we have really got to go back to the drawing board right now, because yeah, we are having an absolute stinker so far to kick-start this year. It does, however, mean that at least the championships are looking quite interesting. Fernando Alonso, top of a Formula 1 World Championship for, well, maybe the first time since 2012, perhaps. Carlos Sainz 1 point behind him, Charles Leclerc and Hamilton 4 points behind, and Piastri and Russell 5 points behind. 6 drivers from 4 different teams currently covered by 5 points at the top of the table there. Perez is up to 7th ahead of Norris. Verstappen has only got 10 points to his name. But yeah, so far with everybody else stealing points off each other, that might not be so bad for the Dutchman early on in this campaign. And well, because I've yet to finish a race, we are last. Constructors-wise, we're also last. There's 4 points in it between Ferrari and Mercedes at the top of the table there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back hopefully very soon, ready for the Australian Grand Prix. Maybe, just maybe, I can finish that race.